Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be doing something a little bit different. I just recorded the end of Supercoach for this year. I want to talk about something that's kind of been controversial as of late, which is the All-Australian team for 2023. I'll go through and I'll make my own team and I'll kind of talk about a couple of players, give my thoughts and little stupid old me's opinions on players and who should make it, who shouldn't. Overall, I don't really care who makes it because I know the panel that votes on it and I know how they think. It's not usually the best players, it's a popularity contest. So, start with fullback. And I should say, before we get this started, I don't put every player in their position, right? It is kind of like just how All Australian works at this point. I think it should be more positionless because the actual AFL is very positionless. So at fullback, probably the first pick, probably going to be Tom Stewart because I think he's a shoe-in here. I think he's had a great year, probably his best year of his career. I know Geelong haven't been amazing, and I do rate team success pretty high, but I think Tom Stewart is a shoe-in for All Australian just because of his year. If we look at some stats, I have pulled this up. Tom Stewart. By the way, this is probably going to be a bit longer of a video, so if you're in for that, go ahead, or you can just skip to the end and see the team at the end. So, what are we looking at? Season average here. Best season of his career when you look at disposals. In every, I guess handball's been a bit lower, but kicks, when you go too high there, you have to drop somewhere. He's never been a super high tackle type of guy, but his marking's up, the intercepts are up, and he passes the eye test. It's really all there is, right? Like, players have to pass the eye test. There's a couple that do, and their stats aren't the best, but I feel like Tom Stewart is one of those guys. Great stats and passes the eye test. He's just a great player. Next, I have at fullback. I'm thinking it's Harris Andrews. So a huge part of Brisbane being second has been their defense this year. At the Gabba, their defense I'd say is one of the best in the league. They're just really good at defending that ground. And again, I want to say for Harris Andrews as well, this has been a pretty, maybe not the best year of his career. I think that was 2 years ago. Have a look at the numbers. I mean, these are going to be skewed a little bit because he's been playing for so long. I mean, he's up in everything. So maybe this is the best year of his career. I don't know. I'd say it was about 2 years ago was probably his best year, which, yeah, puts you at 2021. I'd say this was his best year, the year that I kind of thought he was best. But, you know, it is what it is. 2023, a great year for him, great year for Brisbane. He's a huge part of it, man. Him, guys like Starcevic and Rich hasn't played a lot this year, but when he does, he's still a good player. Their whole defense is kind of not so much the name, but the scheme. So I think, and the defense is really why Chris Fagan's keeping a job. Let's be honest. He's just a very good defensive coach. Next, we have. I feel like one of the St Kilda boys deserves recognition here. It's either going to be Quaynor, Sinclair, or Wilkie. I think I might put Sinclair on the halfback line. So, more Quaynor, Wilkie. I guess I should say like why I'm not thinking about Wiedering. Wiedering has been good. I just think. Let me see Wiedering stats. Give me a second. Alright, so after a bit of like stat looking and stuff like that, I'd say the third best fullback of this year is a defensive back is probably Sam Taylor. But he's not here. I'm thinking it's going to be Quaynor. I'm going to give it to Quaynor, but just know Wilkie is really in this spot here. I think Saints' defense over the last couple of weeks has been massive with his play. some of the best defense in the league when you look at it, especially live. Live, they're a great team. Half back line. All right, so this is where it kind of does get a little bit more interesting, um, because there's so many players here which I'd probably put in the midfield. Let's see, what do we got? I think Nick Dacos is a shoe-in. Might go. But I'm going to leave someone out, aren't I? It's probably going to be Wiedering who gets left out. It's looking like. Yeah. Alright, so it's going to be... Ooh, this is a bit harder than I thought it'd be. Yeah, so I am going to go Dacos, Sicily, Sinclair. Right? Like, again, they're out of position. It's just how it goes, right? It shouldn't be this way, but it is because they won't change the system. Dacos has been the best young player I've seen since Gary Ablett, right? He's injured at the moment, so there's a bit of recency bias that people are going to say, is he really an All-Australian? Just completely forgetting that while he was playing, he was the by far Brownlow favourite. By far the best player on the best team, right? When you look at it, because they were number one, and he was the big reason why. Sicily, now, this kind of does go against what I say a lot of the time. I think team success should play a huge role in individual awards, because if you were that good to be nominated for an individual award, your ability should help the team win. That's how I see it. That's why, like, I think MVP in, say, basketball or something like that, team success should be a part of it, right? I don't think it's a completely individual award. Stuff like this as well, which, I mean, it's individual honour. I think your team should play a big role, but Sicily has been so good. He missed a fair bit of time because of Sicily stuff, but he's a great player when he's on there. He's one of the best, I'd say, like, commanders in defense. Like, he can intercept, move the ball forward, get the guys playing under a very good game plan. He's physical. He can basically outbody anyone. He can line up against anyone. Yeah, I think he's one of the best backs in football. Guys I'm snubbing off here right now for an on-field role are Wiedering and Wilkie. I think Darcy Moore does deserve a spot. I just think the last couple of weeks, again, recency bias is playing in, which it is always going to. Darcy Moore does deserve a spot, and it's probably going to be a bench spot, real life. And that means Wiedering or Wilkie is going to get left off, which sucks, but it is what it is. I could see Sicily getting dropped. You put Darcy Moore in and put Wilkie on the bench. We'll see at the end if I feel like there's any changes that need to be made, but that's what I'm going with for now. I guess I didn't explain Sinclair too much. Just is very good. You put him as a defender. He can, again, pretty much line up on anyone. He's not the tallest guy, but you can line him up on anyone. He's an athletic freak, which is like all the rage at the moment, getting these really athletic halfbacks that you can put into the midfield. Yeah, and I feel like whenever I turn on a Saints game, it's always Sinclair with the ball. So he's a great player. And then we're starting with the midfield, right? So I do use this spot here and this spot here as wing. Again, center. This is the wing spot, but real life you could definitely see like them putting Cripps here or Bont here, and I think they've put Bont on the wing before in All Australian, which I mean it's weird, right? So the first spot I think is very clearly going to go to Merrett on the wing. This one isn't too bad because Merrett can play wing, and he's played a fair bit of outside mid before. Merrett's had a really good year. Essendon were good for a while, and then just fell off. I think it would have been like post Anzac Day, was it? Can't remember when their like downfall started, but they've been good for a fair bit of this year, and then just terrible at the end. But I think through it all, Merritt has been kind of their shining light in the midfield. Probably easily the best player on that team. Um, and if he wasn't captain and signed up and everything like that, he'd probably be the best off-season target for any team that you could possibly go for. Um, yeah, I know. I rate Merritt super highly. I think he's a really good player. Um, yeah, I'd like to see him on a team that's really contending for a premiership. I think that would be very, I don't know, interesting to see how he performs in like super high pressure moments, like finals and like not just first week of finals. I'm talking like grand final, right? I want to see how he performs in that. And then going off Supercoach, this spot here is on ball. Um, I think I might go with Bontempelli. Um, there's a lot of good midfielders this year. Someone is going to get snubbed, and I really hope it's Jai Newcomb. Jai Newcomb should not be on this list. I love Jai Newcomb. I love watching Hawthorn. I think that they've got like super young, energetic, fun to watch team, which will be good eventually. Maybe it's. I don't think it'll be next year, but I think it could be the year after. They're going to be a good team. But this is not the year for him to be nominated for stuff like this. Same thing with Noah Anderson. I think he's great. I think he's him and the combination of him, Rao, and Took under Dimmer is going to be so fun to watch. Can't wait to see it next year. I think Gold Coast will have finals next year. I think they should have had it this year if they weren't just poorly managed by Stuart Dew. Um, yeah, I know. They did fall off a fair bit this year as well. But Bond's probably going to win the Brownlow now since Nick Dacos went down. And, I mean, he deserves it, right? Right? Like, I think I've still got Supercoach open. Yeah. He's the highest averaging player in the game. He's always got a 140 type of score, which, again, I'm talking in Supercoach terms here, but to score 140 in Supercoach means you're doing something in the game. And the Dogs have been good. Don't let them missing finals make you think that they haven't been good. They've been solid. It's just the top 8 has been so close this year. Like, they only missed top 8 because Carlton didn't win. Um, Great team. They did lose to West Coast, which sucked, but even with the team thrown under the bus, he put out a captain's statement, which read good and everything. One of the best captains in footy this year. Bont is an amazing, amazing type player. And then the final wing spot, I think, is a shoe-in for Josh Dacos. So the Dacos brothers, while they were playing, were like the best duo in the league. I know I say that a lot for Butters and Rosie, but talking as a pure midfield duo, I think it's Josh and Nick. I think they're the best players that work so well together. And obviously it's because they're brothers, right? Like they know each other's tendencies too well. A lot of those close Collywood games, it would just be like Nick to Josh, Josh to Nick. Jamie Elliott would be in there, but like, I don't know if Jamie Elliott's really an All-Australian forward this year. I think he's good for a nomination. I just don't think he should be in the team. But Josh and Nick are just... You can't have one without the other. And they're great players. Look at what Josh did in Geelong. Versus Geelong. I don't know if it was in Geelong. Was it? I think so. I think it was. No, it was at the MCG. I don't know how I can check that, but that game he had like 40-something touches, controlled the game, and really like secured first for Collywood. He's a big-time player. I would like to see how they go in like a big-time final, Josh and Nick. I think Nick's injury is going to be a big talking point come finals. I mean, it already is. But yeah, I think they're both amazing players. Guys I've snubbed off here, like just for a wing spot, not talking so much about the middle midfielder spot. Goulden, I think, deserves a spot. It's just a matter of I think Dacos is better, um, and I think Merritt is a fair bit better. Like of this list, I'd say it's Bont number one. Then there's a bit of a gap. Then it's Merritt. Then there's a sizable gap. Then it's Dacos, right? I think you could put Noah Anderson on a wing. I think he used to play outside. Um, Sarong, I'd put more as an inside. I don't think. I mean, he's played forward and stuff like that. So, Petrarca, I wouldn't do it. It would look silly. Um, Dawson's going to get robbed of a spot, ain't he? He's not better than Bont. And unless you put him on half back, which, I mean, this year he's just not playing half back. He's playing as a midfielder. But yeah, we'll keep going through the team. And, like, this isn't final. Like, I will go back at the end and review who I've picked everywhere. The half forward line now. This is one that, at least in group chats and stuff, I've spoken about a fair bit. I think that there is a couple of picks here that shouldn't be even up for nomination, for one reason or another. I think the first shoe-in pick, which, if he's not in there, it's just going to be ludicrous, is Tex Walker. He's so good this year, and it makes no sense. Like, he was thinking about retirement just a couple of years ago, and now he's one of the best forwards in footy. If it wasn't for him just shanking a couple of shots, he could have won the Coleman over Curnow. Like, I think he went 9-4, and there was at least two very easy ones there that he could have had. I could have won the Coleman, mate. I think next year, age is really going to start catching up with him. So this might be the last good year of Tex, but I mean, just great player overall. I'm thinking I might actually have to pull him out and put him on the full forward line. So I don't know who I'm going to be putting there, because they've taken out a lot of players now that they've done the 40-man. And they've added just players that shouldn't be on here. Curnow is a half forward or Curnow is a full forward? I think he plays more half forward. He's the Coleman medalist. He's the best forward in footy. Just a freak of nature, right? Like, someone that big coming off. Was it an ACL or was it a broken leg? I think it was an ACL. Back-to-back Coleman winner is just insane, right? Like, what else can you say? He's just he is the best forward in footy. And then the final spot, I'm going to give to. You know what? I'm going to take Tex out. Tex is going to be a full forward. He plays more full forward anyway. He's really down in the goal square. I'm going to go with Toby Green, because he's another one. He's just an athletic freak, right? Like, the athleticism has kind of slowed down. He was more, taking more hangers and stuff like that earlier in his career, but talk about goal sense. It's like him and Curnow and Tex are just way above the rest, right? Like, as soon as I think of Toby Green, I think of like him going to a pack, and just knowing that the ball is going to hit the ground and just knowing exactly where it's going to go, pick it up and snap it around for a goal. He's just so fun to watch, right? I'd love to see him on a very good team. Like, GWS could get there. I think they're a little bit away, though. I think they need another very, very good defender, like Sam Taylor level. And, Toby needs forward help. Jesse Hogan's cool and all, but I don't think Jesse Hogan's the guy. But say Toby Green was to go to a big Vic club, he'd probably be hailed as like one of the best players in all of footy. It really is Vic bias that keeps him down. And then I'm going to go Petrarca as the last spot. So Petrarca's had a very good year. I want to say it's been slightly under the radar. But saying that, he's going to poll a lot of Brownlow votes for those games that Oliver was out. That's how it's going to be. Their whole career, as long as they play together, it's going to be, they're going to steal votes off each other. So I don't know who's going to win Brownlows between the two, because they're just going to steal votes from each other. that stretch without Oliver Petrarca as half forward and kicking like 4 goals a game and stuff like that, it was just nuts, right? I think for that period alone where he was the best player in the league, I don't think there's much competition there either. He was the best player in the league. He deserves an All Australian spot. Even now, like this week, he was good against Sydney. I think lower type of game, but still a very good player. And then full forward, I think Tex is a lock in. Tex would have been on the other line. It's just they've taken players out. God, I'm gonna have to pick him, aren't I? And I don't think he deserves a spot. Okay, so we'll go through them, right? Charlie Cameron, I think this has been a down year for him. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to pull up his stats and have a look, but I feel like it's been a very down year for Charlie. All right, so bringing up Charlie Cameron, I've been comparing him to the other like guys I'd put in his class, right, of player. Kind of like just energetic. I mean, Cameron's a small forward, but kind of just like energetic forward. You got Cameron, De Goey, and Langford. I think Langford's easy out here. Um, Great year for him. I think he's had his career high goal total, but like I said, if you're that good, it should translate to wins, and it's not translated to any wins for Essendon. So I think player performances should be scaled to how much they've helped the team win games, because that's what it's all for, right? It's all for winning a premiership at the end. So I've compared him to De Goey, and all across the board, he's beaten De Goey. Everywhere except fantasy points, but that's because De Goey's a midfielder. Disposals, of course, De Goey's a midfielder. I expect him to have around there, but 20 disposals is really what I'm looking at. If I pull it to this here, actually. I mean, 1 goal a game versus 2 goals a game. 24 touches is a fair bit, right? Like that's a lot. But when we're considering the role of forward, what are we there for? We're there for a couple of touches and then just converting those couple of touches, because you're not going to have the ball live in your forward line all game. The midfield is going to have to work to get it there, converting those touches to goals. And he's not done it that much, De Goey. So I'm thinking it's Charlie Cameron has to take this spot. Um, this is pointless. This chart here is just pointless. I wish they put it together a bit better. I guess what have we got? Accuracy. Charlie's beating him in. Goal assist, but again he's a midfielder, so he's gonna have those inside 50s. I mean, he's just scoring more, right? He's putting up more points on the board, and yeah, shots at goal. I mean, he's 4-2. Yeah, I think it's Charlie Cameron. I'm just gonna do it like this because whatever. I want text in the middle, and then the final spot. I'm thinking it's probably gonna be Larky. I don't think he deserves a spot because, like I said, if you're that good, it should convert to wins, and it hasn't for North. North are bad. It's the same reason what like I think Oscar Allen's like. I think Oscar Allen's the best young forward in the league, but that's because I go for West Coast, right? So of course I'm going to have bias. I wouldn't put either of these guys in. Would I just put De Goey in over him? I think Danaher's a no. I'm going to pull up his stats quickly. I think I can just do it. Let's do this, right? Danaher. Yeah, how's Danaher's here? Basically the same as Cameron. It looks like 2 goals a game. I mean, the behinds aren't great for him. He's so inaccurate. If we go just general stats, I mean the marks are up. He's taking the marks this year. 15 for a full forward. I mean he pushes all around the field. He's actually quite a good player at doing that. Uh, all right, I'm going to compare him to Larky because I think this is what the spot's going to come down to. Nick Larky. I never thought I'd be seeing Nick Larky as All-Australian candidate. 3 goals a game. I mean, that's going to get carried by that last game, isn't it? Disposals are down, but again, plays for North. I mean, I think it's Danaher. Danaho's beating him out in like every stat here. Hmm. He can't. Danaho's keeping control of more marks. I mean, tackle pressure doesn't matter as a forward. It used to, but not anymore. Goal accuracy. I mean, yeah, Danaho's just terrible at goal. Shots at goal around about the same. Score involvement's around about the same. I'm thinking it's Danaher over Larky. The only thing is, people are going to say, oh, but you have to, like, reward North for having a good player. No, I don't. They didn't win. If I'm going to reward people off being good and having good players, I'm going to reward Oscar Allen because he's the best player on that team. And whereas Larky might not even be the best player at North. It's probably LDU. I'm thinking I'm going to put Danaher and I'm going to hate it there. Whatever. We'll have a look at it later. Now, the midfield. The proper midfield. So, like I said in the Supercoach video, I've got Tim English as the best ruckman of this year. All 24 rounds considered, I think English has been the best one. I think Marshall, I'd say the last like 5 to 6 rounds, Marshall has been the best ruck. It's just 24 beats 6, right? And then inside mid spots, first one goes to Libba. I think Libba's... Would this be his first All-Australian? I can't remember if he made it a couple of years back. It's not going to show me, is it? Because they don't do... Yeah, they don't do anything there. Great year from him. Career highs across the board when you look at it. Let's pull him up. Lib Eratore. Over. Come on. Yeah, whatever. I'll do. Go with key stats. I mean, you're almost at 30 touches a game, right? 27, 6 tackles, elite pressure, right? Clearance king. I think it's an easy spot for him. He's of this list. Who would I say is better than Libba? Jordan Dawson has an argument. Neil historically, yes, but I think Neil this year not so much. Chera, nah, I wouldn't put it there. DeGoey, no. Luke Jackson's a ruckman. Sarong maybe, but I mean, WA bias is going to kick in, and Freo just haven't been good. Freo are just, they're so like stat padding. Like the handballs around the midfield, it's crazy stat padding. Noah Anderson, no. Cogs, no. Tom Green's averaging a lot of disposals, but I just don't think he's turning them into much. And that's what's really going to hold him back. Newcomb, no. Viney shouldn't be on the list. Butters, we'll get on to Butters. I'm not going to say anything yet. Rosie, I'd say Libba is better than Rosie, but Rosie is very good. I think Rosie's going to be getting a bench spot here, but Rosie's great. I think Libba is a bit better. Even though Rosie's playing a better team and helping that better team win, I don't think it's Libba's fault that the Dogs are losing. Libba and Bont are very good, right, to say the least. It's just a matter of coaching and having no defenders and stuff like that. So, and then Marshall will talk about in a minute. And then Goulden, I'll probably take Libba over as well. The next spot is Butters. I think Zach Butters deserves a spot somewhere in the starting lineup. He's just been so good this year. One of the most fun players to watch. He goes after everything, puts his body on the line for everything. And he can play kind of everywhere as well. Like, you can put him in the midfield. You can kind of rotate him up forward. You can put him outside, say on a wing. He just finds the ball, right? Like, he puts his body on the line to get that ball, which is something I highly rate in players. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I think that's a good line there. And then the interchange. So, there's a lot of players here to pick from. Who would I go with first? I'm going to probably order... You know what? I'm going to do defender, mid... that's not fair to do it like that. Who do I think is the best player here? I'm going to order it by best players, huh? It's hard for me, honestly. I think Rowan Marshall might be the best player here. Let me have another look. Man, is Dawson really going to miss out? Dawson might miss out unless I chuck him on a wing or something like that. Maybe for like Dacos and then move Dacos to the bench. Neil, Cripps, Wiedering, DeGoey, Darcy Moore. If there's a defender spot going here, it's probably going to be Wilkie over Moore. But is that recency bias? It might be. Yeah, I don't really like any of the Freo guys. I don't like Gold Coast in here. I don't think either of you deserve it. Hawks shouldn't be on this list. Like I said, they're a good team. And Bruce is, like, outrageous, him being on here. I don't care about the goal total. Your team's bad. Viney, I think, is an interesting choice to be on here. Dan Houston, I don't think is all-Australian level as a defender this year. I think Alir has been a bit better. It's just Alir's not available for selection. Rosie, Larky, Dusty. I'm going to go Rosie as the first spot because I think he's locked up a midfield spot on the bench. Then I'm going to go Marshall as a backup ruckman and backup forward. Now, as a defender, because I want a defender on this list. That's a midfielder, that's a ruckman and a forward, and then I'm going to go with at least one defender in these last two spots. I think it's going to be... You know what? I'm going to pull up the stats. I think this is a very good comparison, actually. Not Sinclair. Wilkie. Again, stats don't tell the whole story, but this is just my opinion. A good way to compare players. What are we looking at? 20 touches for Wilkie, more marks, more tackles, but they're first. Alright, so that does mean a lot. Defense. Spoils are up for more. That's not bad, but he's not really at the elite level. They haven't got intercepts in here. Why wouldn't you put intercept marks? Unless I've got it here. Yeah, intercepts. I actually thought Wilkie would have more than him, to be honest with you. Contested marks, Darcy's also up. This is a very good comparison. I might give it to Wilkie. But then Darcy Moore hasn't played last couple, so it could be recency bias. This one, I'll admit that, like, say you pick Moore here, that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to go with Wilkie. That's three Saints on here. Saints haven't had a great year. I mean, they've had a good year, better than the last couple, but not an amazing year. And then the final spot. You know what? I'm going to give it to Goulden. Because... do I give it to Dawson or Goulden? Goulden would get so snubbed if I leave him out here. I mean, one team's made finals, the other team hasn't. What are the stat comparisons here? I am leaning on stats a fair bit, but I'm also taking into account team positioning and how the teams have played. And kind of like just eye test players, right? Why's it done that? I mean, what do we got? Because they'd be fighting for midfield. I mean, the exact same player. Ah, boy. So then it is going to come down to one made finals, the other didn't. And it's that goal review. That goal review is going to cost Dawson a spot here, ain't it? I mean, look at them. They're the exact same. Goal pressure's a bit higher on Goulden. Marks are the same. Tackle pressure's a bit better on Dawson. Hmm. I'm gonna give it to Goulden. I'm thinking, and God, I'm gonna hate that because I really, really do like Jordan Dawson. He's one of my I think he's like one of the best kicks, if not the best kick in the league. He's got such a like smooth kick. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Goulden. Goulden probably should have had a wing spot, and it should be Josh Dacos. That's what I'm gonna go with. Let me have a quick look. Now I'm thinking about it. Maybe Wilkie over Harris Andrews. You know what? Yeah. I'm gonna go back and change that. I have to go back a fair bit, but that's gonna get changed for Wilkie, and then I'm gonna put Darcy Moore on the bench. Which means I have to just leave it as that. Go all the way back bench. This is a pretty bad like way of doing the team selector, but it is what it is. Darcy Moore's going to make the bench. Harris Andrews is going to get dropped for Wilkie. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's what I feel most comfortable with. Have another look. Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty comfortable with that line. Quaynor's been a one-on-one king this year. Another one, athletic freak. Like I could say that about most of these guys. I pretty highly rate athleticism. Um, Dacos, Sinclair. Probably an argument for Sinclair not being there, but maybe he should have a bench spot. Uh, Maybe you go bench spot for him and you put Dawson there. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, pretty fine with that. Pretty fine with that. Not a fan of Danaher being here, but I mean, it's better than the other options. Um, yeah, I guess that's going to be the team. So we've gone with, we'll just say it one time so everyone knows. Full back line: Tom Stewart, Callum Wilkie, Isaac Quaynor. Half back line: Nick Dacos, James Sicily, Jack Sinclair. The centre midfield: I don't know why they just call it centre. It should be centre midfield. Um, Zach Merritt, Bontempelli, and Josh Dacos. Half forward line: Toby Green, Charlie Curnow, Christian Petrarca. Full forward line: Charlie Cameron, Taylor Walker, Joe Danaher. Followers or inside midfield: Ruckman, Tim English, Tom Liberatore, Zach Butters. Then on the bench, the interchange: Connor Rosie, Rowan Marshall, Darcy Moore, and Errol Goulden. Oh, you know what? Now I've just said Errol Goulden. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Jordan Dawson. Yeah, I think that's gonna be Jordan Dawson now. No, it's gonna be Rosie. I mean Rosie. It's gonna be cool. That's a really hard line to pick from. It's like Neil. Neil's a Brownlow winner, and he's getting snubbed. Same with, I mean, Cripps. I'm not gonna say it. Um, Wiedering's kind of getting snubbed there from defense spot. So is Harris Andrews. Uh, Luke Ryan's probably putting in a bid, but like again, Freo haven't been that good, and he's better in losses than he is in wins, which I, very highly don't rate. Anderson, yeah, I mean, Lark is probably missing a spot. Dusty, I don't. I don't subscribe to the whole like Dusty. Dusty deserves a spot because of the last couple of games. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna go with that. So, oh man, I'm gonna go back. Damn it! Can I not go back? Is it gonna give me a screen where I can look at everyone? Yep. Okay. That's what I've made. Like I said, this is all my opinion. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to argue about it. Um, I very much disagree with the way the All Australian team is picked overall. Um, I think we should have a lot larger bench, and I think it should be two teams. I think we should have All Australian first team, All Australian second team. There's too many good players, and doing it like this makes you put people in roles they shouldn't be in. For instance, Zach Merritt is an inside midfielder, not a winger. Nick Dacos, the best part of this season, he was a midfielder, not really a halfback, and definitely not halfback towards the side. He was halfback in the middle. Um, a lot of this, right? Like Jack Sinclair, best part of the season was in the midfield. Christian Petrarca. I mean, yeah, Christian Petrarca as a half forward is fine. Um, not a fan of it. Is what it is. This is what I've gone with. Oh, I can't wait to see the comments of this one. See you all next time, guys. Tasty out.